Welcome to Divine Honey Podcast. I am your host, your friend, Tamika Johnson.
And I'm your co host, your friend Tim Johnson.
If this is your first time tuning in, this show is about human experiences. This includes thought provoking conversations, and most importantly, our Divine Honey guest sharing stories about love, life, journey, and purpose. If you're watching on live or on the replay and you feel inspired, show some love in the chat. Questions and engagement are welcomed. Hey, brother.
What's happening?
I'm good. How are you?
We got like a little flu bug going through the house right now.
The
I'm
shit's
the
got
last.
y'all.
I'm the last one to get it.
Last one that your immune system broke down. It got you.
Uh, a week later, Kingston had it last Saturday and the Sunday, and Bree had it Thursday and Friday, and then mine started last night or this morning.
Oh no. And I appreciate you. You're still on here moving and shaking with me.
Mm-hmm. Grind don't stop.
You can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm glad to be back. I had like a week off. I went to Napa with a group of friends. It was about 12 of us. All flew in to California. I love Napa. It's one of those trips that I've always wanted to do. It's kind of in my mind like the bougie trip, and I like wine and getting to see like wine country. Um, it was good. I think the first night it was really rainy. We did go through off season. So it was slow, which is good because it's 12 of us. So we were able to move accordingly.
Yeah.
Um, we went to okay, we did do the escape room while we're there. I suck at escape rooms. It's off my I've done it. I'll never do one again. I
You got
just
to be
can't.
able to be calm. You got to be able to be calm.
Look,
You
I'm
was in
not.
there panicking. I already know you.
It was so many thoughts, like, but we almost got it done.
Oh, y'all
So
didn't even do it? Finish it?
no, we didn't finish in time. It's timed.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
timed. Um, but then we did our wine tastings the next day. So we got there Thursday, did the escape room. Friday we went and did visit some wineries and we all wore shirts. We had different things. Like my one friend Sophia had back that glass up. I had corks are for quitters. Um we went to our first winery we went to. I mean, a little disappointing. I'm not gonna say much about it. Wasn't very accommodating. It was
Put
just
them on blast.
yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So it kind of like brought the group down a little bit, like, dang. But
Hmm.
then we go to the next place. The next place we went to was Brazen Cellars. It's family owned. Mario Brazen is I think he's deceased, and I don't know why I think he is. We did meet his wife. She was like the first lady of the place. She was taking pictures with us. But we went in there. They accommodated us quickly. They pulled chairs up. They had the cheese. They had everything. They played music for us. It's 12 of us. I'm gonna post more pictures. I posted little, but we had so much fun. We were just tasting wine. We were singing. We were laughing. Like it was just
Like they had a
I
speaker in there for y'all or what? Like, oh,
yeah,
y'all
they
brought a
could play
speaker.
music
Oh.
and yeah.
Y'all was out
And
there stepping on grapes barefoot.
no, we're just
Oh,
sitting in like a room in a that's not a restaurant, a winery inside, and just there's three like four wines we get to taste.
hmm.
And it was so much fun, but we were having such a good time and they were such a great hostess that or host that we were like, where do you suggest we go next? They said there's a place called Mako next door, Mako Vineyard. And they called, and when we got there, everything was set up. We had a good time. He said each of us could request a song. So each of us would request a song. We were just hyping there. We just had uh, a good time. I think one of my favorite parts was like just us singing and just
Yeah.
happy. Mind you, I didn't know all of these ladies. I knew maybe less than half, maybe 4 of them out of the 12. And it
Right.
was just a great trip. I felt like I left meeting some really amazing women in 4 days.
You tell them
Now,
to follow us on this and promote our uh, talk podcast.
I didn't, but guess what?
Come on, bro.
No, I got to get better. I want to put those two I'm going to put this in the chat. We also went on the next day we did the Napa wine train. I did enjoy that. It was like a 5-course meal. We went to these really nice wineries, like family owned. Like this is like old money. We dressed like we were at the Kentucky Derby. So we wore dresses with our sneakers. I had my Jordans and we had our little hats. It was fun. My favorite part on that was at the end when we're going back to like after visiting the wineries, you had like a little dance party. And it was so fun. We were like dancing to like Dirty Dancing and all this. And like kind of just it felt good, like just watching us all. And we're all like, you know how sometimes you're put in a box, like even like black, like even by culture, like you should like this or you shouldn't like this or shouldn't like that. But we knew all the rock songs. We were just like, it was like pure Black girl magic. It was like we were able to, yes, it was like we could just be free and dance without judgment. And that was my favorite part of the trip too. You guys, I put in the wineries we went to and their Instagram information and just Napa Wine Train. They're on Instagram as well. But it was an amazing trip. I needed it. And happy to be home. That's all I got on that. But yes, if anyone's interested in Napa, there's beautiful things to do there. We didn't do everything, of course, but look into it.
So you're saying someone probably need like a week out there versus just a couple of days?
I was fine with 4 days. It was just weather. It was very rainy and off season. So like there's other things you could do. Like you could do the hot air balloon. There's all these things.
Y'all ain't get in the hot air balloon?
No, it was crappy outside. We actually drove. I do want to go back to the Bay Area because I want to go to San Francisco. We had to drop one of the girls off. Some of us flew in through the Oakland airport, and another half of us, a couple people, or I think it was one person, was San Francisco. So we dropped them off. I couldn't see the San Francisco bridge the Golden Gate Bridge, because it was so foggy out. And I think I want to go back and visit.
Cool.
But it was a great trip. And
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. So you ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully I wake up feeling better, and hopefully watch Pat Mahomes get a victory.
Okay, so Pat Mahomes, is he probably on the 49ers?
You're wild.
No, didn't the Chiefs win last year? Haven't the Chiefs won consistently?
He's the quarterback for the Chiefs.
Oh, didn't they win Super Bowl last year though?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want them to keep winning.
But he's also, one of us, half black, or he might be 3/4. I don't know, but we cheering for him.
I know who he is. Didn't his dad? I saw his dad's mugshot. I'm just saying
that's a DUI.
That's how it clicked.
Yeah, his dad just got a DUI in Texas.
Hey, it happens. So you're
then
for the Chiefs.
Bogus for that too, because I know they knew once he said who he was, they could have let him go low key, and be like, "Hey, can I get an autographed jersey or something? Autograph some." And then also low key, like for real though, was like, "Hey, we can just get you a ride home versus giving you this DUI ahead of the Super Bowl." But here we are.
Yeah. So
who you got winning?
Who I got? Okay, we're not. Last year, who did? Okay, the Chiefs. They played. What was it? The Eagles.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we did. They had Super Bowl was here in Phoenix, so we went to the Super Bowl experience, and they were like, "Well, pick which team." We didn't know any. We didn't even know who was playing. So we just said we're gonna root for the Eagles. We're gonna root for the Eagles. So we could do the Super Bowl experience fine. The next day is Super Bowl, so we watch it. I watch it at my friend's house, and we play a drinking game. It's if the other team gets a touchdown, you got to take a shot. I mean, we lost. It was a bad night.
Y'all
Like
was out there
we smacked. Like so. And the person who shout out to the person who suggested let's play a drinking game. She knows who she is. She can never ask me to play any type of drinking game again.
So they say there's like the 3 S's. You got the people that are there for the sports, people there for the social aspect, and the people there for the snacks. Which one are you falling under?
Social and snacks. I'm greedy. There for a good time.
I feel you.
I don't even understand football because I asked you to teach me and you refuse.
You watched me play all through high school.
I didn't know what was going on. I just knew. But are you ready for this halftime show though?
Oh, Usher.
My boo.
They've been doing a lot of TikToks. Like I saw one, there was a teacher that like had what'd she do? She had like Usher up on the screen and then like her lyrics and had like the class like following along with her stick as she's sing the song like this. That was pretty dope.
Oh, I see that TikTok too.
Yeah. I think everybody, I think this might be like really the best one, like ever.
Oh, the classroom goes, she goes, situation.
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
He's gonna show out. Who do you think he's gonna bring on stage with him?
He's gonna bring Little John out there for show. Because that was a movement. I bet he'll bring out Alicia Keys for My Boo, because that was a movement. What's another one of his popular features? And then I think it'll just be all him, like for real.
Yeah, he doesn't need anybody.
He don't really need, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's had great writers in his career, and all of his music is everlasting. So this Super Bowl is probably going to touch like a spectrum of folks. Like I thought like The Weeknd was going to do something. I think after watching The Weeknd's halftime, whatever he did, I'm like, come on, man, you can't do this for the R&B folks. But yeah, Usher gonna kill it. He gonna go crazy.
Yes, I used to love Usher. I went to see him twice.
Oh,
like
for
in
real?
1 year. Yeah, I went to the I forgot what tour it was.
8701?
Huh?
8701?
No, this is later. I was really young in that one. I'm like an adult. When the song, oh my God.
Oh yeah. That's like Lil Jon and them. Yep.
Yep. So I went.
Oh, that's the Black Eyed Peas. He might bring them out with that.
Yeah. So I went here in Phoenix. This is like the beginning of the tour. And then I went in Omaha at the end of the same tour. So that used to be my baby. Well, let's look at some comments. What y'all talking about in here? Okay. Oh, so is Sheba 1121 never again? I know what she's referring to. She's referring to that's the drinking game. Yes, Sheba, we know who this person is, and if they're watching, we don't mess with you. And then also she said halftime and snacks. Yes. Okay. Well, you guys, we're in Black History Month. I got my I can't even see it, but I got my shirt on to represent.
I got mine on too. This is a brand by my homie Reno. Hold on, let me see. Foreign Gents. We probably need to get him on here one day.
Yes.
Foreign Gents.
Yes. You should put his link. We got to drop his stuff in there. We'll make sure we get a website or a link or some contact information.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Just a cat heart Foreign Gents. She put it in there, so y'all check it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what Black history, an inspirational person in the culture. So you go first, Tim.
All right. I kind of like just want to give a shout out to all the folks out there hustling, grinding, living day-to-day life and taking care of their mental health, taking care of their business. So shout out to all y'all doing that. Don't really want to go too deep into the rabbit hole, but our existence sometimes is tougher than others. So shout out to you if you keep going and keep grinding and doing your thing. But I'm gonna rock with Shannon Sharpe right now. I've been doing like a lot of work around authenticity. And I think for real, like as far as any person doing podcasting, social media, he's on a couple of sports shows. He has his own sports show. He has his own podcast. Like he's out here doing it, man. So I want to shout him out. And I think, he's been going viral a lot, from Monique just went on there. Cat Williams been on there. A lot of people have been on the show, but of late, I think he can bring that stuff out of people, even though, people come with preloaded ammo for show. However, you still have to be brave enough to speak that out regardless of, because a lot of that stuff is personal. So you still got to be brave enough to speak that out. And I think because he is such an authentic human, he relates. Even he had 21 Savage on there, you know what I'm saying? Watching his interview, like he relates to a lot of people, and him just being himself, it helps ease some of that tension and shyness or anxiety, if you will, to speak your truth. So I want to shout out to your favorite uncle, Mr. Shannon Sharpe.
I love it. I'm starting to get into him. Obviously because he's gone viral, but I will catch clips of him in Ocho Cinco. So.
Oh yeah, the Nightcap, they comedy. Mm-hmm. He got Wild. Gilbert Arenas on there too every once in a while. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the inspirational person I chose to talk about is, remember we're talking about you only know about the same people.
Sure.
So I chose Henrietta Lacks. She was an African-American woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa, which is abbreviated for her name, cell line. It's the first immortalized human cell, and it's the oldest and most commonly used. So her cells became the first human cells to be replicated outside of the body. She had gotten cervical cancer, so they did the biopsy and they discovered at Johns Hopkins this supercell. So these cells contribute to the advancement of like HPV, polio, and COVID vaccines, medications for AIDS, HIV, in vitro fertilization. So all like medications, probably that cell has touched this. And this cell can live for a long time. She died in 1951. And so grateful for her contribution. But again, her cells were taken without the family's knowledge and used until they didn't have no knowledge of it until 1975. One thing, the backstory, I know that they did try to test the kids, and they didn't know why. Like they were checking the kids out because to see if they had this cell. It was really that, but they didn't. There's a company that has been using the cell. They've made billions of dollars has been made off of.
Oh, you really been out here researching, huh? Yes. Look at you.
But Oprah Winfrey, she made a movie about it, and it's kind of from the perspective like the aftermath, like the kids afterwards.
What's the movie called?
It is. There's a book too. I'll put it in there, and it's the same thing. The Immortal Life, huh? I'm gonna put it in there. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. But God is good, right? Because in 2023, her family, they got a settlement.
Oh, right on. How much?
As they should, yes.
How much bread they break?
It's undisclosed.
Oh, right on.
So, crappy that like this family and Henrietta was taken advantage of,
Right.
But she contributes so much, and so I wanted to highlight her, and it's prevalent today because we still benefit, and she did not die in vain.
Sure.
So
I
let
mean,
me
that brings light to a lot of things as far as the experimental processes or situations that Black folks were put in those earlier years of the 19 from like the 1900, probably even before then, but the ones that
yeah.
we know to date, there was a lot of experiments done on our kind just because our genetics were different. So
Yes. So yes, so I put the book in there, and the movie, there's a movie with the same title. Also, I want to highlight that in Phoenix, there is the fourth annual Black History Celebration is going to be Saturday, February 17th, 12 to 4 o'clock at the Grassroots Bookstore. The Grassroots Bookstore is the only Black-owned bookstore here in the Phoenix area. It is the hub here. They do a lot of things there. They
yeah,
have chess, they have game nights, they have entertainment, poetry, learning, you name it. Books, you can get your books published in there, you guys. I've been there for what are those called when you have a meet and greet for your book launch? But at this celebration, there's going to be culture, history, music, poetry, performance, arts, Black-owned businesses, shopping, food vendors, community resources, activists will be there, authors, children activities. This is family and network opportunities.
family friendly event. Can't miss
Family
it.
friendly event. And let me put that in there. So go check out,
Pop out.
pop out, show up and show out.
What's the weather been like out there for y'all?
It's rainy. It's been shit here.
Because I was just wondering, because we've had so much, it's been so warm here. So I'm like, what? I wonder what y'all getting hit with, because it's going to be coming our way at some point.
It needs to. It needs to.
I think we got to like 60 degrees the other day.
No. We've been in the 60s, but it's been wet and rainy. The ideal weather here is probably 70s and not raining,
Right.
but it's better than when I was there and it was negative. So maybe the bad weather has just been following me. I don't know.
I dig it.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into these relationships.
Let's get into it. What you feel?
Well, here's the thing. Let's start with you because you're married. From a man's perspective. Did you always know you wanted to get married?
Yeah, I think from early on, I didn't want to be a stereotype. That always stayed in the back of my mind. Have multiple baby moms,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. So that was always a staple. And plus, growing up for us, I didn't know nobody that was married for real.
Right.
So I never even seen what that looked like. So we out here thugging it out, making it work. I think with now to this day, even before Kingston was born, you got ordained quick, and we just spontaneously went and got married by the court so that we would be officially married before Kingston was born.
Yeah, I officiated. I married.
That's what I said. You got ordained.
I got ordained. Oh, I missed that part. I thought you said by the courts.
Yeah, I said you got ordained and we got married by the courts.
All right. Your sister's not a good listener. I'm working.
Listen, bro. So yeah, we got married before Kingston was officially married before Kingston was born. Obviously, you can get married in front of God, but we got married for the court so that the legal paperwork has been submitted. But yeah, it's been nice. It's funny that we're talking about this now. It's like our phones listen to what we say. So the Breakfast Club I always catch little snippets, and they had T Grizzly on there, and T Grizzly had brought up something super interesting in the fact of, everybody's special to somebody, but also you choose your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're ready to propose and make that next step, those are your choices you're making as a man or woman. Whoever is the one that is proposing, you're making that choice saying that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So how do we get back to those thoughts around what that looks like? Because I think, and actually I wouldn't even think the statistics probably would support me. I just don't have them in front of me. Divorce rates are so high because folks get married out of situations or convenience versus actually choosing or selecting that person that I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one major important factor. But yeah, Bree and I are doing well. We talk every day. We communicate well with each other. Yeah, we rocking.
How did you know she was that one? Because I knew you were going to propose to her a year before you actually did. You told me you were going to.
That's a great question. So there's a lot about me that throws people off, but she lets me be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And she's never asked me to change. Obviously, I'm going to provide for my family and do all those fatherly and husband duties, but she lets me be who I am. I crack jokes, even though they irritate her sometimes, but I crack jokes. I wrote that in my vows that I would always be what it is. I bring that up actually quite a bit. But yeah, she lets me be me. And when you're able to do that, it's something that it never changes. Like I said, obviously we're going to grow as people, and as we learn and as we advance in our careers, there's growth in those, but we also grow together. Like, we don't do things that are separate, you know what I mean? Which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we have our lives outside of each other, but we also take time to build our life together.
Mm-hmm. So there's a balance, because sometimes, like, you said you have things outside of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't think that's possible when it's not living separate lives by any means. It's
No, like, I'm just talking about like
identity.
friends,
Yeah,
our
identity.
job,
Yeah,
doing activities,
yeah.
So, and none of that's
Um,
been stripped from either one of us. Like, she loves to do all of her social media stuff. So if you got time, if you're watching, just Takia Hart on IG, Facebook, TikTok, tap in with her. She talks a lot of health, growth. She's actually going through a period in her life where she's all about her growth and making changes to be better for herself, which has been beautiful to watch and blossom. So yeah, we out here doing it.
I love it.
It was funny because there was one of her TikToks probably might still be going viral. So if you haven't seen it, it's just talking about, I think it was like how attractive her husband was or something like that along those lines. But she was like doing therapy with people in the chats because they're like, why would your husband let you do that? But it's like, it's full support over here. Like, ain't nothing wrong with doing what you got to do. You know what I mean? So we out here doing our thug thizzle. She's doing it for sure. And again, if you haven't, start to tap that follow button, tap in with her.
Yeah, she has very good content, great content.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. Obviously we grew up in the same family, brother and sister. We're talking about backgrounds and relationship. I would say my perspective, I didn't know anybody like in our family that was like married, but technically all our aunts, all of them, there are different generations. They were all had husbands.
Yeah. Yep.
They just died. Yep. So by the time our generation came up, there was this all women. I would say I looked at it as women were the head of our family.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there was cousins, male cousins, and this and that, the women, hands down, were the matriarch of our family.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I didn't have that either. What being in a relationship is, or a sense of marriage. So it's like I'm older than you, so I'm like learning like all these things now, so I can get, be a good partner and know what I want from them, but know who I am and know what I can give.
Absolutely. I think that's that's it right there. It's knowing yourself, but also there's also give and take.
Yeah.
So you got to know when your limits are pushed or when your limits are reached, and then also still how do you still to support somebody during that time.
Yes. I think sometimes when you don't have good representation of what a relationship should look like you're learning it on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're learning about yourself and learning about maybe your negative actions and what you attract. Because yes, I've been in some long-term relationships, but nothing that's led to marriage, nothing that I would find like healthy. But I try not to beat up on myself too much because I didn't know what I didn't know. I have to take
Right.
accountability for my actions, yes,
Hmm.
but I did not have awareness. I had no self awareness. Like I look back, I'm just, and maybe the little bit of selfishness because I had, I wasn't feeling good about myself. Like I
Sure.
needed something and I was trying to get it from somebody else. So focused on my somebody else fulfilling that need. So I guess what I'm saying is it is important to know yourself and somewhat deal with your issues. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect because I think social media, in my opinion, has you have to be healed, whole, and healthy to be with someone. Yes, but you'll never be perfect. There's always going to be you're always going to have to grow.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
So no one's going to be perfect, but I think self-awareness and knowing yourself and knowing what you need is important.
But I think that's what you just hit the nail right on the head. I think that's what the problem is because we look for perfection.
Hmm.
We're imperfect beings. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's no way to reach perfection, but we can heal though, for sure. We can forgive, we can heal, we can move forward with our lives. And from those situations, I call them opportunities, we then learn more about ourselves, which then enhances that self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? So I think those opportunities are given to us for a reason so that we know like, okay, now this isn't what I like, but I can bend here though. I might not like it, but I can bend here a little bit, you know what I'm saying, as
Mhm.
long as it's make my other person happy about it. So there's a little bit of that also.
Yeah, I think another like kind of like I'll ask you this too. I was watching again, your phone must hear you. There's this guy, Pastor Keon, and I listened to him, and it was a Bible study about relationships, and they had different couples come up, and he like, they were just like kind of casually just talking, and they talked about trust versus love. As I've
Mhm.
gotten older, I would say I would pick trust because if I don't trust you, there's always going to be
Well, if you don't got no trust, there ain't no foundation for love.
there's no you said it perfectly. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say. Like I
yeah,
have to trust you because there's an you said it perfectly. There's no foundation for love. Um
because
it's
that's how the
more than
toxicity. That's how all that toxic stuff happens.
yeah, it's more than just a feeling. Like feelings and relationships are super intentional, you know.
Hmm.
They're
Like I
intentional.
said, you're selecting the person you want to be with. You're choosing them. When I make that vow of this ring that I'm presenting with you, either the man or the female, whoever proposes, you're to that point. I am picking you.
I choose you.
Hmm.
And knowing like through all of that journey of being together, you're gonna change and
Hmm.
just still choosing to love that person at their worst.
But that's why it's important not to create that divide. So as I was saying about, Brie and I have our lives outside of each other, you still have to water that grass where you're in the middle too.
Hmm.
You still put the nourishment and love and attention into your relationship because once you become two separate beings, that's where that door for divorce or separation starts to happen. And if you're not taking that intentional time to work on your home front, your home base, it's only opening the door for other things to happen.
100%. This is kind of because single woman, controversial. I did do a podcast a long time ago. Can men and women be friends? And I think be platonic friends. And I put an asterisk by it. Only, but this is off personal experiences. I've not had platonic male friends. Any man
Sure.
that it's only been romantic. Maybe we became friends afterwards, but once you kind of cross that line, I take the word platonic out.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
so, but I'm not. I'm a girl's girl, but I only have one guy friend.
Yeah.
My buddy Jay, like 20 something years. That's the only platonic brotherhood outside of having that I have. And me and I was getting my hair done, hairdresser girl talk. She said, if because I'm single, she said, if your husband came to you today, and, and this was guaranteed was going to be your husband, and they said but you have to let go of that friendship. Would I?
Oh, that's tough.
Um, what else am I going to be asked to get rid of?
But this is the
Age,
thing, though. But this is
my age is a factor. You got to remember that. I'm
yeah.
over
But
40.
this is what I'll say to that.
Yeah.
So, like, if that question were to happen, if Jay really was your homie,
Mm-hmm.
Jay would start to step back to allow your relationship to flourish.
100%.
So he wouldn't even put you in a situation to where it's like, because you did the same for him. You know what I'm saying? So he would do that for you.
I did because I want. He's my friend. I want him to be happy. I want him to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were able to come back and be friends later.
Exactly. Yep. And that's a part of the process.
Yeah.
There's never ultimatums make things tough, but if someone is like a real friend, which friendship to me is like a listener, advice giver, they have their problems where you listen to, it's 50-50, like it's mutually beneficial for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know that a relationship is on the horizon, either side of the coin, one person will start to take a back seat. And whoever is pursuing something may not even realize that is happening, because we're allowing space to happen, because in that foundational piece of starting a relationship, there's anxiety and there is insecurity no matter what you do. And we still don't know each other as the people trying to start a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So unintentionally or indirectly, that other opposing person might take an outside friendship as a threat until we get to know each other, where that foundation of trust can be built.
Right. And I think that's where I'm at. I can't start getting rid of things. It would just have to be a conversation of, why do you feel this way?
Right. That's it.
Is it ego? Yeah. Or is there a real threat? Is there something inappropriate you saw? But if it's just this person merely exists, then that's a whole different conversation.
100%.
And obviously there is boundaries. Me and him are friends, but he's a married man. There are boundaries. There just is.
Mm-hmm.
But
you said it though. Communication is the foundation of all successful relationships. So if we're not able to communicate around something that is bothering you, I can't fix anything. You can't fix anything. Nothing can be done because I don't know.
Right. So even though that would be uncomfortable, maybe he's like, man, I don't want to bring this up to Tamika, how this makes me feel, because it's going to cause conflict. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I want him to bring it up. We have to communicate and get through those uncomfortable conversations. Right mm-hmm. now is where I'm at. I'm built for that conversation. Even if I react, I can come back from it. I have the skill set to have the conversation. 10 years ago, maybe not.
Right.
So yeah. So sometimes you can't say what you would or wouldn't do. I would leave it as, I would hope I wouldn't be asked that. It would be a conversation of, let's talk. What's going on?
Yeah, facts.
That's what I can just say right now.
Yeah.
But
which again goes to the growth that you've made around being self-aware. Because mm-hmm. When something is off, you can feel it. And if your partner chooses not to talk about it, then it might be, you know what I'm saying? If it's early enough in the stages, it might be, well, you and I are in the same spot.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And that's okay.
We'll move along.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say trust and communication, and also trust, because I need to feel safe. I need you to say everything you need to say.
Right.
Like, don't leave me guessing. Don't leave me wondering. And be kind of straight to the point. The more for me, when you're not straight to the point, when you're not clear and direct, I tend not to trust.
Right.
So what are your top things for you needed in your relationship or
I say
important?
communication, consistency, and growth.
100%.
Because we're not
100%.
going to be the same person every day. Like even before this, I kind of snapped on her because I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Rad, let me just have a bad day," you know? So it happens, you know, but communication is key. Growth and consistency, showing up, making sure you're going to show up.
Next. So another thing I was thinking about, like social media, how they're kind of shaping relationships and kind of like the same old conversations you hear from like on podcast, and sometimes I feel kind of divisive.
Yeah, like for real, I feel sorry for anybody trying to date right now because you pop on, and I know we touched on Kevin Samuels, but you put on Kevin Samuels stuff, or you put on like the Breakfast Club podcast, or you put on, you can really find any podcast for real.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're choosing to soak into your brain is what is you're going to be your output. So my advice would be for any person that is trying to be in a relationship and it's just starting out, I would get rid of all social media. Let that ride.
Mm-hmm.
Because your brain, like our brain chemistry is shaped so much by what we watch, because that's what we're feeding our brains all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Bree just said social media only affects you if you choose to follow it. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we make those choices to follow because there's something in us that's like, oh, I need to hear that. I need to hear that. Yeah, she's talking that shit. They talking
Right.
that shit. Yeah, let's stay with it. Let's stay with it. But it's only poison. It's poison.
Yeah. 100%. Like I know, like there were some things that went viral. Like, oh, let me think of one. Do you know who Ebony K. Williams is?
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember her thing that went viral with her and Iyanla?
Yep.
That she said, "Would you date a bus driver?" I felt like it was you knew what she was going to say. She said, "If he owns the bus." I mean, she wants someone equally yoked to
That's what
her.
you want. Yeah.
There's nothing like, I don't know why it was a debate. Like,
But in that though, Tamika, the reason becomes a debate because some folks are looking for her to be like, well, if I love them, I can cherish him and we can grow together.
mm-hmm,
But others are looking for her to say, I need a boss ass dude with me because I'm a boss.
mm-hmm.
And then in our brains, we take that on as like, yeah, I am a boss. So now, hell no, I ain't gonna date no bus driver or no teacher. They ain't not on my level. So that's where it can go. It can go
Right.
to.
See, and I look at that, like I see what caliber she's on, the things she does and how she moves and shakes. She probably couldn't be successfully with someone who's just working a 9 to 5, and there could be possibly some insecure. She's a very strong woman and
Right.
so she would need someone to complement that. They would have to be very secure, but maybe for her, she would probably need someone where they're on similar.
Well, the thing about it for me is, and I just thinking like as a social worker, when you don't even open your brain or your eyes to love, because at that point you're not even opening up for that, because you can find a love in any circumstance.
That is true.
You can make a connection with any human in any circumstance, but as soon as I say my job title, now you're turned off. But those feelings that you felt were real, but you won't even let those feelings manifest because now you know what my title is. Why would my title impact the way that you feel about me? But
That's
social
facts.
media does that.
Mhm. And I guess I looked at it from her perspective. It's not my perspective. Here's the thing. For me, I want a guy I'm a 9 to 5 worker. But I have big dreams and big goals. But that's my dreams and that's my goal, right?
Sure.
As an individual person. But I just would want a guy that the inside has integrity, loving, cares about me, trust, communicates, dedicated, those type of things. But on the other hand of providing, I do need a man that is financially responsible. You can be financially responsible no matter how much money you make.
100%.
But we have to have the same or thought process when it comes to stability. and fiscal responsibility.
But you don't get there in a week though.
No,
So that's
no,
something where
but
you have to make the investment.
right. But fiscal responsibility is important
I
to
want to,
me.
yeah,
Like you gotta get yourself together. You ain't ready for no wife.
right.
You like
And
barely living.
that's why I said like ultimately for that person ultimately makes that choice to propose. Like I didn't choose to propose until I was stable.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have enough bread to support, ain't no point even making this choice. And now we got it, we got our house together. We got a lot of things happening for us because you gotta when you make those decisions, you don't want to make this decision out of circumstance. You want to make it as an opportunity because now we both can grow and flourish together.
Yes. A give and take.
Mhm.
Reciprocity. And we got to really forget like the compromise is gonna come in there. Y'all, we gonna end up sometimes doing shit we don't want to do. Like it's not my
Yep.
favorite, but
Right.
I have to be there for this person. Sometimes I might have to. I realize I might have to put what I'm learning. I might have to put my shit aside sometime because that person might need it more than me. My shit's gonna have to come next week.
Yeah, facts.
Like this ain't it.
Mhm. And you got to be self-aware to know when someone is down and let them be down. Just provide that support.
Right. So that's, I think another thing is being for a listener, I'm not going to generalize women, but we like to talk and get our feelings out. I think what I would have to work on is listening.
Yeah.
Look, at least I'm aware of it. Oh, there's another one. What's the other big debate on social media? I have a big thing about this. If someone were to ask me straight out the gate, what do you bring to the table? I don't know. That would bother me. I'll tell you why. This is not a checklist of job interviews. I'm a Pisces. This is about vibing, feeling, getting to know each other on a level. All those things I want to know, they come up. We're talking as really just getting to know each other. I see how you move and operate in life, what you do. Like I'm genuinely getting to know you. So I will know what you bring to the table. Like if it's something I value. If I
Right.
just give you a checklist of, well, I do this, I have this. And then the man looks at me and says, I don't care about nothing like that. So what I find valuable about myself as I'm listening off, he might not care about those things. I prefer you to really get to know me, see how I treat people, how I handle myself, handle my business, my work, all these things. Of course, you're asking these questions along the way. But if you see what you like and if it's a value to you, it's just more organic to me. I don't like that question.
I also think about that. The other thing that went viral was that thing about dates. If you take me to this restaurant, I'm like what?
Yeah, that's stupid.
That shit's
And then she
silly,
said
bro.
Cheesecake Factory. I was like, I like Cheesecake Factory.
Dude, I think
But
Brie and I probably did like some fast food or something
yeah.
quick. Like, shit, this is how I'm rocking. If you rocking with it, let's keep rocking. But if not, it's all good. Keep it pushing.
Okay. Well, I might say something unpopular. I'm just gonna say I don't care where you take. Like, actually, I like simple things. I like going for walks. I like going getting smoothies. I used to drink coffee, so I used to like coffee shops a lot. But I'll go have tea because sometimes you have to work up. You're just getting to know people because how we date now is just.
Right.
I might not want to spend a whole dinner with you. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like
I might
I've
want to
been
have an appetizer. We can get some mozzarella sticks.
and like chop it up and see if we want to keep hanging out. But I'm gonna say something super unpopular. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I don't I don't be like paying for dates. I've never been I can't I've I've never been asked to. Now I do nice things and I will, but like later. But like off rip, like I would be like thrown off.
Well, that might be a test.
I mean, I would pay my stuff. He will stop testing me. I'll pay my own stuff. That's fine, but that's not the kind of gentleman I'm looking for, you guys. But I've never been approached that way before. That's not been my experience in life. You got to understand that's not been my experience. I've never dated anyone that was like that. They've always
Sure.
took care of it. but I probably not.
I feel you.
You're probably gonna say, "Oh, that's why she's single." That's not why I'm single. I wish that was so simple.
No, I didn't say that shit. Like, if you want someone to pay for you for your first date, yeah, that's so be it. I mean, and that's again one of those one of those things. If I'm choosing to take you on the date, if we think of a traditional sense, I don't think there's a lot of traditional things happening anymore. But if we
Yeah.
think of it in that traditional sense, and I feel like that's what a traditional statement. Like, I would expect the man to pay for if we went to lunch or something. Especially if you ask me. So what if you ask them?
You know what? No, I wouldn't ask. So.
All right, well, there it is.
No, I don't know. It's not you say what you would or wouldn't do. I don't know. I've been different with different men, like in a giving sense, but I just in general, they've always had the mentality that they take care of it. Yes, have I offered and things before? 100%. Oh, there was one. This guy took me out so many times. Me and him used to have so much fun together. And one night we went out for drinks. I said, I got this. I go, you do so much nice stuff for me. I said, I got this. And we lit that tab up and we had a good time. But I just like always appreciated his company, and we were never going to be serious, but he took his time, his money, his energy just to be cool with me. So,
That's cool.
Let me see if we got in comments. Okay. The best thing for my mental health years ago was cleaning up who I followed on social media. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's who you follow is what you're going to attract. That's what you're going to see on your feed. If you want more positive, inspirational growth things, that's who you need to follow.
Right.
But I will say this, because some of us are going into that, and I want y'all to give us, from a male's perspective, give us some advice. A lot of us I'm stepping back out into dating as well, trying to date healthy, understanding my boundaries, and respecting others. So I did go back into therapy only because just to kind of I'm going to be intentional about dating this year. So one of my homeworks was 5 things that we need in a relationship. So you guys think about what are 5 things that you guys need in a relationship. And then the second part, it's not really relationship. It was 5 things I struggle with acceptance of self, which I guess that is important when you're about to go out to this dating world. So 5 things we need in a relationship and 5 things you may struggle with acceptance of self. So those are some little homework things that I have. But going out into this dating season and not being discouraged, I think as you get older, like I'm getting older, I'm a woman in my 40s. I keep bringing this up, and I'm single and no children. I think it's getting more It's not unnormal for that. I have plenty of people in my life that don't have kids in their 40s and are single, but I feel like there's still a little bit of a stigma in it, and you get kind of scared. Oh, am I going to end up alone? Or why is it taking me so long? Or I would just say, just stay encouraged.
Trust the process.
Yeah, just trust the process. Shoot, your person just may not be ready for you yet.
Right.
You may not be ready for them.
Facts.
And I think too, focusing on being present and being focused on the great things that you do have in your life. So what would you give ladies and gentlemen who's dating in this climate? Because like you said, a lot of traditional values are pretty much out the door. You as a man, for women, what's your advice?
I would say doing homework just like that. Mm-hmm. What are the things that you're actually looking for? Because I think a lot of times we get caught up in the whirlwind of all the things that are happening, and we actually don't even know what we're looking for. So like, what do you want in a partner? Like, how many times have you done any reflection on what do I actually want in a partner? Because I would imagine it'd take a lot of people to actually think about what are the things that you value, because we forget some of those things that we value because we're so caught up in that person's conversation or that person's relationship or
Mhm.
that person's podcast. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up in all those things that we actually do forget, like, damn, what am I looking for in a partner? And then what do you have to offer? I think that's also important too, so that you
Mhm.
can become self-aware of, like, I do have some good things about me, because I think you
Yeah.
can get into a deep hole of depression when you're like, damn, I am getting older, I am single. Like, what do I like? Think about what you have to offer, because you have something to offer somebody.
100%.
Anytime you can take time to reflect, that's going to be your best friend. But in doing that, you got to be comfortable with what comes out, because I think a lot of times when we get into that silence, it scares us.
Oh, 100%. And the little voice in your head saying, okay, you're not lovable.
Hmm.
You're not good enough. You're not. And get off, I would say, too, what social media and stuff is presenting to us, what relationships are. You got to look for something else. You got to look something. If you're, I know we listen to things online, but something that promotes growth, self-awareness, that promotes love, that shows you compromise. Like, you want to be married, start watching things with married people
Right.
that have been married for 40, 50 years. Just educating yourself, but of course loving yourself too is
For sure.
so important.
For sure.
Nobody wants a broken partner,
Right.
you know. I want to ask you one more thing because I'm curious. What is your love language?
I think I'm a gift giver. I love to give gifts. Mm, I like affirmation.
Okay. You love to give them or you like to get gifts?
I love to give gifts.
You
Like,
love to
give
give
people
gifts.
gifts. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to watch other people be happy.
Oh, nice.
You know
Um,
yours?
yeah, I had taken a test before. So mine are, my top one is words of affirmation. Words are important. I need to be told that I'm loved, that I'm cared about, and that might be some other things. Um, but I also like to tell the people that I care about that I love them and I care
Yeah.
about them and that they're valuable to me. Quality time. I like spending time with people, or if I had a significant other, I would love to just spend time with them. I know in the past I was in like a relationship where we would just go to the grocery store, and I loved it. Every Sunday, go to the grocery store, and we would just have a ball. So really, just being in your presence. Oh, just a kid heart asks. I know you like to give gifts, but how do you like to be loved? What makes
Mm,
you feel loved is your love language. I caught that too. How you were saying kind of how you like to love other people, but how do you like to be loved, brother?
just like consistency. People just being there for me,
Hmm.
where it's not like it's a task.
I love that. I do have another question from the male's perspective. Um, how can, as women, like, we love differently, we do things differently. And I think sometimes we forget men have feelings and they need to be loved, nourished, nurtured, or whatever. How can we be there for our male counterparts?
Man, just provide space.
Hmm.
Provide space for that. I think a lot of times, like that. Another thing went viral with Shaq. He said that what'd he say? He said, I don't tell my partner anything because they're gonna hold it against me or throw it in my face at some other point in time. And
And then,
if that's the relationship that you choose to be in, that was your choice. But I
and
mean,
then,
you don't get to know that until it occurs. So again, that goes to that trust. If you provide me the space to be myself and be authentic, and I'm going through something, and I express that to you, I trust that you don't put this back in my face. I
and
trust that you're actually authentically providing the space for me to be myself and be free, and get this off without you holding it against me another time. That's me trusting being vulnerable to do that. And if you don't lay that foundation for that to even happen, then it doesn't ever get there. So then now men resent their partner, which then leads to divorce or leads to cheating or whatever have you.
You know who countered that? That was brought up on Club Shay Shay to Monique, and she said, Shaq ain't got no woman. She said she disagreed because she was like, well, who? It's sad because the point is you should be able to tell your partner things.
You should be able to.
Like
exactly.
what she was saying, why would I be going off telling like I should be able to confide in my husband? I don't need
that's the toxic love. When we were talking about trust, when that trust is not there, that foundation of love doesn't happen. So now you're in a toxic relationship where that stuff is thrown in your face. Which is why Shaq has had 2 or 3 divorces. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not trying to throw my man under the bus or anything like that, but like, he's been divorced before because of toxicity.
Well, he's only been married once to Shawnee.
Okay, so 1 divorce. Sorry.
1 divorce, but you know what he did say about that divorce? He took accountability. He said he ruined their marriage.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, oh, facts. He said he had a good wife. He goes, she cooked, she cleaned, she took care of kids, she handled business, and he did the things that he
was
did.
Toxic.
And now she's married to Pastor Keon.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for her. But there was something else I was gonna add. I hate that. It was like what we were talking about, Monique. I lost it.
Well, we can talk about it in another episode.
Yeah, like when I remember, I'm gonna write it down, you guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This was a good conversation. Look, Valentine's Day is coming up. Look, you don't have to have a person on Valentine's Day to love yourself. But girl, I know it would be nice.
Sure.
What did I say? I said, I'm tired of girls' trips. I need a man trip. No, I love my ladies. I love my friends. But y'all know what I'm saying. So, Tim, I hope you feel better.
Thank you. Me too.
Because I want to put this in the chat let me put this in the chat with the Pastor Keon, what they talked about. Let me put that in there before I forget. Okay, so if you guys enjoy this conversation, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. You don't want to miss another episode of Divine Honey Podcast. You can also listen and rate the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The links are in the About section. I will also drop them in the comment section. If you're interested in or know anyone who's interested in being a guest on the show, or if you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, please, you can email me. Let me put that email up. BougieGurl, BOOSHEGURL @gmail.com. You guys, I am on, of course, Instagram, BougieGurl_LLC. I'm also on Facebook and TikTok. Tim, do you have anything to shout out? Any parting words?
Have a good day. Go Chiefs.
Until next time, you guys, peace and blessings.